All right, the process of urination is the process by which the urinary bladder is going to be emptied. It includes both involuntary and voluntary components. The internal urethral sphincter is a smooth muscle that is responsible for the involuntary control. The external urethral sphincter is responsible for voluntary control. As stated, urine is continuously produced and going to be sent to the bladder. Eventually, the bladder is going to stretch enough to send a signal via sensory neurons to the spinal cord and the brain, which begins the desire to urinate. Once it's time to urinate, the brain permits voluntary relaxation of the external urethral sphincter, which is a skeletal muscle, and the urine is going to be expelled. Here's the diagram showing the impulses, the nerve impulses, and control of both the voluntary and involuntary urethral sphincter. There are several types of homeostatic imbalances associated with urination. Urinary incontinence is the lack of voluntary control over urination. This is pretty normal for infants and toddlers. They haven't yet developed the neural connections in order to control their skeletal or their voluntary movements, just like they cannot control the ability to walk, or they cannot necessarily control the waving and kicking of their arms and legs. They have no control over their bladder at this time either. It takes some time to develop that connection and that skeletal muscle voluntary control. Urinary retention, on the other hand, is a failure to expel the urine from the bladder to a normal degree. So the inability to actually open up and empty that sphincter completely.